Will you look at this piece of meat? I got this, you will not believe this, $6.41 with my club card at Bond. So today, it's going to become a pot roast, and I was just going to put it in my big old pot, but obviously it's not going to fit. So I'm trying to decide, should I just cut it in half and go ahead? And I think that's what I'm going to do. This is a 7-bone pot roast. I can see 1, 2, 3 of them. But anyway, so what we're going to do is just cut it up and then put the rest in the freezer for another use another day. And go ahead and prepare the vegetables. I will come right back as soon as that's in the stove and started. Okay, so as you can see, I removed a lot of fat, probably about 4 or 5 ounces, and now I'm going to sprinkle it with some flour, because that makes a nice gravy, and I brown that. And this is the whole wheat white flour that I mentioned in a previous video that may not get uploaded. I've been making roasts like this. Not this fat though, this is thick, for 40 years, so I feel kind of comfortable with it. Normally, or often in the old days, you know, I would put powdered garlic in there, but today I'm not going to because we have fresh garlic, so that's going to go in it. So I will brown that. Put some oil in there preheating. And we'll just leave that sit for a few minutes and I will start this. So this is what they look like peeled, roughly speaking, and the turnip isn't hard to chop at all. So, you know, you cut it up pretty much like a potato. And the rutabaga, on the other hand, is pretty hard stuff. Now you'll notice that I'm being careful because I'm afraid of Chris's curse, bugs and rugs. This curse was removed yesterday by Van and Brian, and I'm scared to death of catching it, so I'm being very, very cautious. So we've made a flat area. Now we can chop away like a mad woman. It doesn't have to be pretty pieces. It just has to be small enough to cook properly. Oops. I also do this with some kinds of squashes. They're really hard to cut. Rather than risk hurting myself, it seems like a really nifty device. And the camera's hanging on a Gorilla Pod up on the cabinet, so I have no idea if you can see this or not. You can see that accuracy is not the goal. Okay, so let's take you over to the pot. See how pretty that roast is? It's been browned, and I turned it back off. I used a little bit of olive oil. And so then I'm just going to start throwing the veggies in. And as they get chopped, they'll get thrown in. And then I will add some seasonings and some liquid. And I'm not sure what that liquid will be yet. Some red wine and water and maybe some bouillon. I don't know yet. I'll be back. Okay, so now the carrots have been scrubbed with the brush. As I said, I don't peel them. chop them all up. Not really small, I like good sized chunks of carrots. This part goes into the compost heap. You get the drift, it's kind of reductive from here. Come and see how pretty it's getting. See all the different kinds of veggies. Okay, so I may have estimated. You can see the pie is way full. And there's no potatoes in there yet. And the mushrooms, of course, won't go until the last minute. I'm trying to think. Oh, the garlic. So what I'm going to have to do is cook it down a little bit. I'm picking out ones that I don't think are pretty. I'm going to cook it down a little bit and then make room for potatoes. I've turned the fire back on and now I'm going to add some liquid. Okay, so I just got out of the cupboard and I don't have any inexpensive wine. I just have really good stuff. So I'm just pouring in a quart of water. But I don't know if you can still see how tender this meat is. There it is. It dimples really easily, so that means it's really juicy and flavorful, and it will not need any wine for flavor. It'll be fine. And then if I want to later, I will add some bouillon. But remember, all these veggies contain a lot of water that will also go into it. So for the moment, that's it. Here's my messy and old-fashioned stove. It's an O'Keefe and Merritt, which apparently is a big deal. But it's kind of annoying because you have to light the pilot with a match each time. Whatevs. Okay, so I'm going to do a clean up and then come back when it's been more cooked. Or maybe while I'm making cookies. Interweave them. I don't know. Okay, so we're back with the roast, and as you can see, it must be tender. Whoops, the bones are falling out. It will continue cooking for a while. But it hasn't cooked down enough that there's room for potatoes. But look at the gravy that it's made so far. And that's with nothing in it but water and the little bit of flour that I browned the roast in. Nice. Okay, so it cooked down enough that I could put a couple of potatoes in. As you can see, I don't skin them. I just scrub the living daylights out of them and then chop them up. You can also see that the gravy is becoming quite beautiful. I added some red pepper and some seasoning salt. You can see a little bit, but not so much. I've stirred it up already. You can also see how the meat is becoming very, very tender. And so I'm going to give it another hour or so. I'm going to take out some of this juice and stir the rest of the flour into it. And put that back in there at the very end. Whoops. Okay. Can't hold the camera and stir too. I'm making a mess. Anyway, so that's dinner tonight. Bye. Can you see it steaming? There's 2 bowls here looking all beautiful. The biscuits aren't quite done, but they will be in a minute. So I'm going to call hubby to the table. Hope you all have a good night. Bye.